and welcome again to Cottage Talk. This is my post-match reaction, my 5 takeaways from Fulham's victory against Sunderland in the FA Cup replay. I'm going to be going through all 5 in about 15 to 20 minutes of the show. I actually did a show right after the match of full time. Well, here are the things I'm taking out of the match, and I have 5 of them. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. If you do happen to be watching live, please feel free to share your thoughts on my 5 and feel free to share some of your own. These are my 5 takeaways in order from 5 to 1. Let's start with number 5 to get us going. Let's talk about Luke Harris. And I'm going to say this is a tough spot for Luke Harris. Tough team to play against. I might have gone in the direction, again, this is just speaking out loud now, maybe if they were going to start Luke Harris against Sunderland, maybe at Craven Cottage would have been the route to go. Marco decided to start him in this FA Cup replay, and he really has not played much with the first team. Let's just call it what it is. He hasn't. He is making a lot of progress. We saw that over the summer in the preseason. This is a player that has a lot of promise. He's 17 years old. He's got so much going for him. So, with that said, I think that this matchup against a tough Sunderland team was a real tough spot for him. And I think it just shows that I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was great. I think that he was finding his way in the match. And I think Marco did the right thing by taking him off. And I don't think it's going to hurt him by taking him off. He'll learn from it. But the same thing, he took Vinicius off because, again, it was about winning the match. So you put in Pereira, you put in Pereira, and you put in Mitro for Vinicius and for Luke Harris. And Luke Harris, in his situation, I think it's a good learning experience, but I might have given him a little bit of a softer landing to make a little bit of a splash and played him against Sunderland at home. But this is the way he went. And I just hope that everyone can just take it for what it is. First time, 17 years old, not even 18. He has an extremely bright future. What happened in this match has nothing to do with it. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I just want everyone to get behind Luke Harris because I think we have a special player in our midst. He just needs time to grow. And I just wanted to say that I just think that this spot for him against Sunderland was a tough one. But I expect Luke Harris to really show us something in the future for Fulham Football Club. I do expect that. I really do. I think we have a special player. So that's my number 5. Number 4, let's talk about Shane Duffy. I talked about him on the show last night, and I'll just say this. I think Shane Duffy does have something to offer Fulham. I know he's been used very sparingly by Marco Silva late in matches if he's coming on to play. But he really showed me something because Sunderland was not an easy match for Fulham, especially defensively. I thought they challenged Fulham. And he was up for the challenge. He's great in the air. Did a nice clearing off the line. And I believe he assisted on the goal from Kurzawa. So he offered Fulham something in this match. I think he offers something moving forward. He is going to give Fulham some things to think about in the future as well, because maybe it makes Tosin in the future expendable if you have Duffy, if you believe in Duffy. I thought initially that maybe they're just signing Shane Duffy so they could bring in Soares. Maybe that's a factor in here. But I actually believe Shane Duffy has something to offer Fulham Football Club. I was impressed by his performance against Sunderland, and I wouldn't be against seeing him play in the Premier League starting. I'm not saying on a regular basis, but I think if you asked him to start, I think Shane Duffy can do a job for you. He gave me a lot of confidence last night against Sunderland. Tough place to go, and I thought he stepped up big time. So that's my number 4. Let's now talk about number 3. And I'm going to go back and talk about Tom Kearney. And he was excellent in this match. And of course, there's a Goldman. If you're watching live, I actually spelled Tom's name wrong, but Tom Kearney was excellent. So let's hope he's okay coming out of the match, because anyone that watched the match knows that he came off with needing some help. And but all reports are, and I believe reports after the match, that it wasn't as bad as it looked. And Tom also commented on Twitter about it. So let's hope he's okay, because I think Tom Kearney has shown himself to be a valuable player for Fulham Football Club this season, coming off the bench. I don't think he'll end up starting much, but I think you need Tom Kearney. And so let's hope he's okay. Also, thought Harrison Reed might have come up with a knock as well. Let's hope he is okay. These are key players for Fulham Football Club. The depth of the club is not the greatest, especially you're talking about 2 central midfielders. So let's hope they're both okay. I do hope that Harrison Reed is okay, because he is a starter. And I think it's good now that they actually brought in another player, because they might need to depend on our new signing. We'll see what happens in this next match, but let's hope that Harrison Reed's okay. And also, let's hope that Tom Kearney's okay, because Tom Kearney he was my man of the match. I thought he was everywhere. He does have this calmness. What's interesting is that he offers something completely different from Harrison Reed. Harrison Reed is basically just really making things irritable for the opposition. He's a box to box. He's just really difficult to deal with. And then you bring on someone like Kearney, who just calms everything with his passing, with his play. So both central midfielders are needed. But for me, I really hope Tom Kearney's okay, because he was excellent last night. And same thing, let's hope that everything is okay with Harrison Reed. Okay, so that's my number 3. Let's go to number 2. This one's going to be interesting. So I'm going to share this on my screen. If you're watching live, feel free to comment on this one. So here it is. Fulham need to keep Anthony Robinson as healthy as possible. It's a funny little slogan we have here. You know, when a player we're concerned about is healthy, we'll put him in bubble wrap after the game, make sure he's good to go. Fulham need Anthony Robinson the rest of the season, because what I've seen from Levin Kurzawa, I don't want to see Levin Kurzawa playing for Fulham right now. Honestly, I fear watching him out there. Does he offer you something going forward? Yes. Is he a liability defensively? Absolutely. What makes Anthony Robinson and Kenny Tete, what has separated themselves probably from players like Mbabu, who is pretty much done, I think, at Fulham Football Club, and I'm going to put Kurzawa, is that these are more forward-thinking fullbacks, which is fine. I have no issue with forward-thinking fullbacks. But Tete and now Robinson have really upped their game defensively. So you can count on them going forward, but you can also count on them with cover. Both of these players. Anthony Robinson proving me wrong time and time again. So for me, I don't want to see Kurzawa play at this point. I know I should give a player more time to show if he's worth it. I think I've seen enough. Maybe I'm being too harsh here. But Fulham need Anthony Robinson to start every Premier League match moving forward. I think that if Kurzawa starts, he will be a liability, a player that teams will target against. So for me, please, Anthony Robinson, take care of yourself. We want to see you playing each and every match. And I'll just say it one last time. I was wrong about you. You have proven your worth to Fulham Football Club. Absolutely. And he is certainly my number 2. Let's keep Anthony Robinson as healthy as possible. Okay. Coming up next to end this quick show, my post-match reaction, 5 takeaways from the Sunderland victory for Fulham, I'm going to give you my number one. Okay. So before I go to my number one takeaway, let's see what the Fulham supporters have to share. I'm going to share some comments and then I'll give you my number one takeaway. See, David Nicholson says Duffy did well, put his head where it hurt a few times. Yes, he did, David. And that to me shows the type of player he is. Fulham need players like Shane Duffy. I like players like Shane Duffy. I know he's a center back, but has a little bit of Chris Baird, a little Bairdino, just a player that you just does a job for you. Fulham need Shane Duffy. I'm glad that they actually brought him in. He showed me something last night. I don't think I'm making too much of it. I'm not saying Shane Duffy should start, but I think he can now. All right, let's see what else we got. Kamal says Duffy is a great backup player. He was very extraordinary at Brighton, often winning man of the match award. It's good for Silva to keep him going. Good analogy, Russ. And I meant to say extraordinary. Sorry about that. Let's see. And my friend Wayne Walden chimes in. I think that Harry Wilson is starting to find his way back to being 100% fit. Wayne, I hope you're right because they could use 100% fit Harry Wilson. And I think Harry Wilson has something to offer Fulham Football Club. And I hope his best days are in front of him. So let's hope, Wayne, you are right. Let's see. It's from Steve Lydiard. Kurzawa, I'm torn on. Defending is poor at times, great attacking. I know, Steve, that's the rub here. But when you're playing in the Premier League, I don't think you can afford to have a fullback that is a liability defensively. Maybe you agree or disagree. That's kind of where I'm going on that. With Jedi, he's a two-way player. He's a two-way. He can go back. He can go forward. That's the difference. When you put Kurzawa out there, he's a liability and teams can target him. And I don't want to see that. Okay, let's see what David Nicholson said. Agree, Ari Duffy. He was a little rusty to begin with, but definitely good backup. Okay, let's see what Kamal also shares. Will Tom remain a bit part player as he will be reintegrated as a full-time player? I worry he'll be sold. He's a magical passer. Kamal, I don't see him as a full-time starter. I just don't. I think there are too many players ahead of him right now. I just don't see it. But again, let's see if Tom can prove us all wrong, just like so many other players. Look at Tim Ream. Never say never. It will really come down to Tom Kearney. He does have something to offer. I just don't know if he's a starter right now. But we shall see. Let's see what else friend Steve Lydiard has to share. Try him front three at times. Kurzawa. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to now lead me to go to my number one. And here it is. And please do comment on this if you like, if you're watching live. As we look forward to the Leeds United match, I'm saying it now. Fulham should play their strongest side against Leeds United. Regardless of when they play during the week, let's go for it. Play their strongest side. I'm talking playing Tim Ream, playing Diop, starting Mitro, starting Pereira, starting Willian. I'm saying all that. Play your best players. Play Harrison Reed if he's fit to go. Play everyone. And obviously play Bern Leno. Let's go for a cup run. And I think how you do that is you play your strongest side. So I'm saying it right now. I understand that the league is number one, but I think you can do both right now, especially against Leeds United. I think they're there for Fulham to beat at home. So I'm saying play your strongest side against Leeds United. Let's go for it. Let's go for the cup run. That's my thoughts on that. Let's see. Do I have a comment? I'll share that as well. Let's see. We've got a couple more comments. This is from Steve Reynolds. Silva was nowhere to be seen. Okay, let's see. And this is from David Nicholson. 100% versus Leeds. The gap between games is kind to us over the next few weeks, and Leeds may have more to worry about our league status. Absolutely, David. So that's why put out your strongest side, beat Leeds United. And honestly, for a few reasons, I want Fulham to beat Leeds United. I've never been a fan of Leeds United, but I will tell you that right now I want them to beat them, not only because I'm a Fulham supporter, but because I'm against the way that they run their business, the way they do things. It started off with, I thought they made a mistake with Bielsa. I think they just made another mistake as well. That's just my feeling on that. I don't like the way that the club is run. I don't like their supporters. I want to beat Leeds United in a very bad way. Just don't like anything to do with Leeds United. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. I will have a preview of the Nottingham Forest match on Friday. I look forward to bringing that to you. And I also want to mention, as I tweeted this out this morning, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has been watching and listening to all the episodes. Yes, I wanted to prove a point that you could talk Fulham every single day. I haven't done it every day, almost every day, but I think I've made my point, and it actually has been very therapeutic to me. I'll just leave it at that I can do this show, take my mind off of things going on. So, and for me, what has also driven me to continue to do the shows is you, because you keep watching and listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And that's how I want to end this show. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, my name's Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, now part of the TalkSport Fan Network.